Good morning, all. I hope you're doing fine and are healthy and safe. It is our pleasure and honor to have with us Professor Dr. D.K. Ghosh from Department of Aquaculture, Faculty of Fishery Sciences. Today, Sir has chosen a topic of deliberation, integrated farming and its possibilities in Eastern India. Sir, you're audible as well as visible, and your presentation is also visible, and we've started
Yeah,
recording.
yeah.
Please start, sir.
Okay. Thanks those who are present in these meetings, and I am very much excited that I am going to present in presence of such a august gathering, and I am very much excited in another way that this integrated farming is like a hidden treasure. Why? Now, I will discuss based on these following points. It is divided in two parts, Part A and Part B. And in this preface, Genesis, why integrated farming, why Eastern India, high tech or sustainability, definition, farming system, integrated farming system, basic concept of integrated farming, what to be remembered before developing an IFS, important scope and advantages, goals and types of integrated farming. So let's start my first part. The growth rate of agriculture in the recent past is very slow in spite due to rapid economic growth in India. The production of food grains is likely at 134.7 million tons in 2017-18, but 2.8% below the last year's crop. In the year 2016, Indian population was 1324 million, and it is projected that in our country population is touch 1370 million by 2030 and 1600 million by 2050. To meet the demand, we have to produce 289 and 349 million tons of food grains during the respective periods. The current scenario in the country indicates that area under cultivation may further dwindle, and more than 26% of current cultivable area will be converted for non-agricultural purpose by 2030, mainly for the domestic purpose, means the housing and etc. mainly. Now, the operational farm holding in India is declining to over 85 million out of 105 million are below the size of 1 hectare. Please remember, 105 million land is there and 85 million is less than 1 hectare. Due to ever increasing population and decline in per capita availability of land in the country, practically there is no scope for horizontal expansion of land for agriculture. Only vertical expansion is possible by integrating farming components requiring lesser pace and time and ensuring reasonable returns from farm families. So it is really a great problem because there is no horizontal expansion, only the vertical expansion. And integrated farming is the ideal situation of the vertical expansion. The integrated farming system therefore assumes greater importance for sound management of farm resources to enhance the farm productivity and reduce the environmental degradation, improve the quality of life of poor farmers, and maintain sustainability. Thing is that we are mainly focused on the poor farmers and rural areas. Integrated farming is only for those people. So, what is the genesis? Where the integrated farming concept came? Necessity is the mother of invention. Application of animal waste and fish pond is an age-old practice in China, and the immigrant Chinese have introduced it into several Southeast Asian countries. They developed this practice efficiently for utilizing farm resources to the maximum extent. We know that after the Second World War, there is a huge shortage of food in China, and this China's government, they just approached to the farmers, scientists, what to do. Then they decided that only the integrated farming can save the community. So by this way, they recycled the wastage, and by this way, they started the integrated farming, which later spread in the other countries. It is a means of diversifying farm output and producing food for the families and neighborhood population without a great deal of additional expense. This is the vital part. No additional expense, but we can produce food as per our requirement. Animal waste can be used for fertilizing and feeding the fish, and accumulations of silt in the ponds can be used for fertilizing agriculture crops, vegetables, and fruit trees grown around the pond farms. The embankments of the farm can be used very conveniently for the cultivation of different cash crops. I live in village. Whenever I was in my village, now I am in Calcutta, I have seen in my area there are so many ponds are there, and their embankments are not used for any agricultural crops. They just lying fallow, and in some areas the people they go for their defecation and other purposes, only wastage of land. But integrated farming can utilize this area, which can be converted as a agricultural crop. Although fish farming is integrated with the husbandry of most domesticated animals, pigs and ducks raising appear to have been most successful in this respect. So these are the 4 points where the integrated farming is just like a table. 4 legs are there, and on which the integrated farming is situated. Why integrated farming? Integrated farming system approach is not only a reliable way of obtaining fairly high productivity with considerable scope for resource recycling, but also concept of ecological soundness leading to sustainable agriculture. So sustainability is a very vital part. High tech is another thing, but sustainability means throughout the year after year, you will get the same type of, same amount of crop. If a farmer gets, then he'll be benefited. Otherwise, it is not. So in integrated farming system, this is the most important part that leading to the sustainable agriculture. With increasing energy crisis due to the shrinking of non-renewable fossil fuel based resources, the fertilizer nutrient costs have increased steeply. You just think what is the petrol and diesel price is going on. Day by day, each and every day, 25, 35, say, like this, they are increasing. And it will touch 100 rupees per liter. So how the farmer, those who dependent on this agriculture in this type of fuel, how they will sustain? But we never think about that fertilizer. I mean the waste material which can be converted, and the fertilizer cost is increasing due to the transportation cost increasing and other purposes, and with gradual withdrawal of fertilizer subsidy. So farmers, they are at a stake what they'll do, because they don't have any option other than this. It is expected to have further hike in the cost of fertilizer. This will leave the farmers with no option but to fully explore the potential alternate sources of plant nutrients, at least for the partial substitution of the fertilizer nutrients for individual crops and is the cropping systems. So it is a ray of hope that farmer, where in this current situation, what they are thinking, but this integrated farming can save them from this trap. That's why it is so important. Now, question is, why Eastern India? In Eastern India, about 70% farmer community comes under the marginal and small farmers category, GOI 2009. Farmers under these categories are economically poor and work in diverse, risk-prone environment. You think what is going on in this pandemic situation? Sufferers are that farmers. Most of the way they are not doing their work. They are going to work outside, and these migrant laborers, they are suffering. So this is the thing. They work in the poor environment and the prone of risk-prone environment and in diverse environment. The income from seasonable field crop on small and marginal farms be hardly sufficient to sustain their family. Another is that to tackle such problems, integrated farming system has been advocated as one of the tools for harmonious use of inputs and their compounded resource to make the agriculture in the region profitable and sustainable. And IFS aim at an appropriate combination of farm enterprises like field crops, dairy, piggery, poultry, apiculture, goatry, mushroom cultivation, etc., for productive, profitable, and sustainable agriculture. These all problems which I have already mentioned, this can be solved in this Eastern India if we introduce the integrated farming system. And why? There is some advantages. I'll discuss it. High tech or sustainability. You see, what is high tech? Now, it is a knowledge-based agricultural system that makes use of technology to increase the value and quality of the farmer's produce, found around densely populated urban areas where land is limited and costly. And you see, these are the high-tech agriculture. And you just think whether in our areas, rural areas, this high-tech technology is applicable or not. Then what is sustainable aquaculture? Sustainable agriculture is the practice of farming using principles of ecology, the study of relationship between organisms and their environment. It has been defined as an integrated system of plant and animal production practices having a site-specific application that will over the long term. So you see here, people is there and planet is there, profit is there, they all are in an interrelated system. And nobody will be, everybody will be benefited. There will be no harm, and this is a sustainable agriculture. And you see, satisfy human food and fiber needs, make the most efficient use of non-renewable resources and the farm resources, and integrate where appropriate natural biological cycles and controls, sustain the economic viability of farm operations, enhance the quality of life for the farmers and society as a whole. This is the basic point, that enhance the quality of life for the farmers. If we think in our village area, you will see that they are the sole producer. Whatever crop you will think, whatever fish, whatever milk, they are the producer. But if you consider what is their lifestyle and what is the situation, so just to improve their lifestyle, integrated farming is one of the best solution, what we think. Now, this is the sustainable farming. Actually, I like to mention in this point that from 1995 to 2000, I was associated with a project on integrated farming, and last 25 years I am doing this integrated farming project. And this is the picture is from our project, and it is duck cum fish farming. It is also duck cum fish farming. This is the paddy cum fish farming, and this is the picture from Rohora. It is one kind of farming system, paddy cum fish farming, and in this case they have grown some vegetables in that by using that pond dike. Is rural India sustainable for high-tech agriculture? This is my question to the learned gatherings. And after completion of my presentation, we may discuss for a few minutes. If you say it is yes, then you will say why it is yes. If you say no, then you will clarify why it is no. So this is my question: is rural India sustainable, suitable for high-tech agriculture? Now, come to the definition of farming system, integrated farming system. Now, what is a farming? Farming is the process of harnessing solar energy in the form of economic plant and animal products. That is the transformation of solar energy to the food. System implies a set of interrelated practices and processes organized into a functional entity. And definition of integrated farming system, the basic principles, utilization of synergistic effects of interrelated farm activities. Thing is a synergetic in effect. Synergetic means if 1 plus 1 is equal to 2, it is additive. If 1 plus 1 is equal to 0, it is antagonistic. If 1 plus 1 is equal to 4, it is synergetic. So synergetic means that in that system, the result will be manifold of our expectation. That's why utilization of the synergetic effects of interrelated farm activities and the conservation, including the full utilization of farm waste. Now, basic concept of integrated farming. Now you see there is one picture What is the basic concept of integrated farming? There is no waste, and waste is only a misplaced resource which can become a valuable material for another product. Say, for instance, it is a cattle, and a farmer, he is just raising the cattle for milk, not for the cow dung. The cow dung is the waste material, that is a byproduct of that cattle farming. And this same farmer, he is cultivating the paddy. Paddy cultivation is not for the hay, but for the rice. So hay or straw is the waste material. So if you just keep that cow dung in here and there, so it will create pollution. If you just create the waste material like straw in your adjacent to your home, it will create problem. It will create pollution, and people will say, why you have spotted this like of this? But this cow dung, when it is act as the manure of the paddy field, it is the nutrients, the feed. And the same waste material, that is hay, it is act as the feed of the cattle. So cattle farming, which is the output, it is act as the input of another system. And in the case of paddy culture, the output is that hay is act as the input feed of the cattle. So you can see that there is a cyclical form of waste material. So similarly, in this definition, what they are telling, there is no waste. Dung is not waste. Hay is not waste. Why? Now, waste is only a misplaced resource which can become a valuable material for another product. So cow dung is a valuable material for paddy farming, and hay is a valuable material for cattle farming. So by this way, it can be integrated. What to be remembered before developing an IFS? It is very vital. In every sector, we cannot introduce it, but we must think what is the basic point. Socioeconomic conditions should be considered when developing an integrated fish farming system. The development of a diversified economy depends on the harmonious interaction between socioeconomic conditions, agriculture production, and regional environmental conditions. These three are very important factors. Based on that, we can ascertain whether the integrated farming can be introduced or not. Because the development of an integrated fish farming system is site-specific, and because each site is unique, the integrated system in China are becoming more and more complex. Why I am telling the fish farming? Because as we are the man of fishery, that's why fish farming along with other agricultural crops or other life organisms is a very unique combination. I will discuss it later. So I just want to say that fish farming is a very good system, but we have to think about the socio-economic condition whenever we will introduce the system in any area. Importance, scope, and advantages. What is the importance? More than 65% of India's population live in rural areas, require large supplement of animal protein to their diet, though they are the main producer of plant and animal protein. I have seen in my village that the poor villagers, they are producing the rice, they are producing the potato, they are producing the crop, they are producing the fish, milk, everything. But how much they are consuming? They are selling it to the market. They are forced to sell it to the market because sometimes they take loan from the bank or from the other person and they have to pay for that. So whatever they are producing, they are compelled to sell it. Deficiency of protein in diet in rural areas is a common scenario. The producers are deprived of their product due to poor economic condition. Yes, you can say that in present condition, the economic condition of the villages is now developed. I agree with that. But still, there is some areas where you will see the farmers are not in a very good state due to that different conditions. This pandemic situation, you see what is going on in the village areas. So, in that case, we can say their socio-economic condition is not as bright as we expect. Scope. These undernourished small and marginal farmers have small land holdings, a few heads of livestock, surplus family labor, and outstanding empirical skill. This is the key point of integrated farming, key factors. And these key factors are already with us. Integrated farming can play a significant role in increasing the employment opportunities, nutrition, and income of rural populations. So what is actually we want and what is our capacity? You see, it matches. The thing is that only is the motivation, lack of motivation. If we just motivate the people that you can take this type of integrated farming in a scientific manner, and I hope that because I already have done it for last 5 years and 25 years, I'm associated with that. I have seen that so many people are now interested and they are doing in their best of their effort. Key of success. Beside many developing countries of Asia, this low-cost farming system based on the principle of productive utilization of the farm waste. It is the very important part, and fuller utilization of the available resources of manpower is highly suitable for Indian conditions. Why I am telling the excess manpower, surplus manpower? You see, in case of pig farming or in case of duck farming, there are some person in a family which are old. They cannot go to the field for the daily labor, but he can manage the pigs which they raise in his family, or he can tackle the ducks, he can collect the eggs. Like this way, this manpower, which is already present in village family, these can be utilized in a better way. Now, advantages: efficient waste utilization from different culture practice for fish production. It reduces the additional cost of supplementary feeding as well as the fertilization. We know that in case of fish farming, what happens? The 60% cost is incurred for the feed. Say for instance, fish production cost is 1 kg fish production cost is 100 rupees. 60 rupees will be incurred for the feed. So if we can save that 60 rupees, the 40 rupees will be the production cost, which will sell in the market, say for instance 120 rupees. So if 60 rupees is added, then only the 60 rupees is profit. If other is zero, other cost is zero, only food is 60 rupees, production cost is 100 rupees, that means 20 rupees only profit. If the 60 rupees we can eliminate, so production cost is 40 rupees and price is 120 rupees, so 80 rupees is profit. So in this case, it is an artificial balance system where there is no waste. It provides more employment avenues. It reduces the input and increases output and economic efficiency. The integrated fish farming provides fish along with meat, means chicken, duck, beef, pork, etc., milk, vegetables, fruits, eggs, grains, fodder, mushroom, etc. So there are so many avenues are there. We easily can integrate them with these several types of systems. This practice has potential to increase the production and socioeconomic status of weaker section of our society. Now, what is our goals? Goals is that the 4 primary goals of IFS are maximization of yield of all component enterprises to provide steady and stable income. Steady and stable income. Rejuvenation or amelioration of systems productivity and achieve agroecological equilibrium. Number 3, avoid buildup of insect pest, disease and weed population through natural cropping system management and keep them at low level of intensity. And number 4, reducing the use of chemicals, fertilizer and pesticides to provide chemical-free, healthy produce and environment to the society. Am I audible? Hello?
Yes, sir, you're audible.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, I am just giving you a paper cutting. IIT Kharagpur study flax fertilizer overuse in Bengal agriculture can save serious health impact doctors. So we know that what are the chemicals we use in our agricultural feed, it has no limit. The farmer, they totally follow the instruction of the pesticide industry, the person, those who advise them. They never consult with the agriculture scientists because they know that whatever the pesticide people will say, it is the up to the it is the last word. And what they are doing, if one person adding some pesticide, another person is following what he is using, and obviously he will use more pesticide or more fertilizer in his field. So by this way, there is a competition how much pesticide and how much fertilizer they can use in their field. They don't think what they are doing, and the farmer, they don't use their own crop for their consumption. They purchase from the other field. But this person also, they don't use his own crop. He also purchases from the other field. So actually what they are doing, if you just add nitrates and nitrites, hemoglobin disorder it causes, mercury-led chromium disturbances in kidney, lungs, liver cancer, ammonium nitrate, eye, skin, nose, throat, and lung irritation, potassium chloride, so many things are there. But there is no end. If we go for high tech, or if we just allow the farmer just to use this type of pesticide fertilizer, ultimately the health hazards will be enormous. And whenever I came in Calcutta in the year 2006, in this area there are no such hospitals, only Ruby and Peerless was there. But if you just think in the Eastern Bypass, there are at least 7 to 8 big hospitals are there within this period of time. And in this situation, you will not get a single bed in any hospital. Why? Because people are suffering. They are suffering like anything. Not only this COVID. Before that, there are so many diseases was there, like cancer, like heart, like other problems, osteoarthritis, osteoporosis. Each all are related with this type of pesticide and this type of feeding habit. So high tech is not a solution. Only this type of, if we just can reduce this type of pesticide and this type of fertilizer in our field, so we can get some type of remedy in case of health hazards. Now, types of farming. Here, I will tell you that two types of integrated farming. One is livestock fish system and agriculture-based system. In case of livestock system, one-to-one single system approach, and another is the multi-system approach. And in case of agriculture-based system, one-to-one system, single system approach is there. Now, types of integrated farming, as we are associated with fishery, integrated aqua farming will be the main focus of discussion. Because my focus is just to how you will integrate the fishery along with other components. It is my main intention. And you will see that in each and every sector, these both systems will be benefited. How? There are basically two types of integrated farming followed by the farmers in Indian context. Agri-aquaculture based system, one-to-one single system approach includes paddy fish, horticulture fish, mushroom fish, shady fish, vermicompost fish. So, one is the paddy and fish. Paddy is one crop, fish is one crop. Horticulture is one crop, fish is one crop, like this way. System with aquaculture as major component, whereas other agriculture practices taken as minor component. So here, paddy fish is the major component, paddy is the minor component. But in case of area where paddy is the main crop, there it will be the main component, fish will be the secondary component, the minor component. If you go for the fish is my primary crop and paddy will be my secondary crop, then my focus will be fish first. But if it is just opposite, paddy is my primary crop, fish is my secondary crop, so I will design according to the paddy farm. So primary crop will get the first benefit, then the secondary benefit will get the minor growth. It may vary in cases where it changes, but when it is reversible. Now, livestock fish system includes cattle fish, pig fish, goat fish, sheep fish, poultry fish, duck fish, and rabbit fish. It is one-to-one. In one-to-one sequential approach, with objective of increasing farm productivity and maximizing synergies between these components. So this is the only, cattle is one component, fish is one component. So if I consider the cattle is my first priority and fish is my second priority, the priority will be can be changed. If fish is my first priority, then cattle will be my second priority. So like this way, a person can give emphasis what is his primary component. Based on that, we will do. And another thing that I want to include in this sense, in this section, that in case of our fishery, it is actually a integrated system. If in a fish farm, say for instance, one is producing the seed, and in the nursery tank they are producing the spawn, then in the rearing tank he is producing the fry, stocking side is producing the table fish. It is the integration system, and it is the vertical integration. So integration of two types. One is horizontal integration and is the vertical integration. Fishery in this aspect is a vertical integration. Output of one is the input of others. In the hatchery, the spawn is there, it will be the input of nursery tank. And the nursery tank, the spawn is the output, it will go to the rearing tank. And in the rearing tank, the fry is the input and fingerling or this will be the output. And in stocking tank, fingerling will be the input, table size fish is the output. So it is a vertical integration. Now, this is some integrated farming system where you will see that paddy cum fish farming. Here you see banana, paddy, and fish is there. There is a crop, agricultural crop. Here is mushroom and vegetables, and is a vermicompost. So there are so many types of integrated farming system is there. Different component we can integrate and we can get benefit out of that. Here is the cattle, here is the buffalo, it is the pig, it is in my project, there is the rabbit, there is the sheep, it is the goat. So all are the integrated farming system, and from this farming system, we can get a sizable income just to improve the socioeconomic condition of our farmers. This is also from my project. I have shown you the duck cum fish farming, and here you see the duck house is at the embankment, pond embankment. There is no need of extra cost, extra land, and whatever ducks will be there, you just wash it the room, and the washing will come into the pond, and is dropping will fertilize the pond, and the fish will grow inside. And not only that, the duck, they are the biological remover of the aquatic insect and weeds. They actually control the pond also, and it is very hygienic. And you will see that in areas where duck is raising in the pond, the growth of fish is quite high because they are always chasing. They are going to the bottom just for dabbling, and they are searching for the food. So the obnoxious gases which is trapped in the bottom, it will be released, and the pond hygienicity will be maintained. Like this way, we can improve the pond condition. So here is the one of the integrated chicken farming. It is a on farm, and there are some duck farming. There are some another birds is there. So further combination of agri, aqua, animal husbandry component commodities, multi-system approach. First I informed that one-to-one. It is a multi-system approach at one place, such as pond water irrigation, fish and agriculture crops, pond dike utilization, fish apiculture, agri byproduct, animal husbandry feed, fish excreta utilization, and off-seasonal utilization of bright ponds for oil crops, biogas slurry, animal husbandry, aquaculture, duckweed or azolla, duck farming, agroforestry, pond dike, and fish pond, etc. So it is a combination, multi-system. If you can only select only one, or you can select more than one. So if it is more than one, so it is multiple. If you select only one, it is a single. Now are considered as the innovation of judicious recycling of nutrient linkages, contributing to farming intensification, effective use of bioresources, optimum production of protein, agriculture diversification, and environmental sustainability. So, one-to-one or multiple system approach, it depends on that farmers. What is his capability? If the space is not so elaborate, or if is a very small and marginal farmer, only fragmentary land holdings is there, he can go for one-to-one. And if he has some capacity just to maintain another farming system, so he may approach one or two systems at a time together, multiple systems. Now you see is the Makhna culture, and instead of Makhna you can go for the lotus. Lotus now is a costly flower. You can go for lotus. You see the lotus, and here is the azolla farming. But unfortunately, azolla is a very good fertilizer. Not only fertilizer, it's a good kind of food also. Food additives you can use it. So we have done some food along with some other grains, and we have produced food for the fishes. So azolla can be used as a good fertilizer, nitrogen fertilizer for our paddy farming system. But unfortunately, we are focused on the urea, ammonia, this type of inorganic fertilizer. But we never think of this azolla as the organic fertilizer. Now you see the apiary, this is the biogas slurry, and it is the pond where we can culture for fish and etc. Now, last but not least, cattle cum fish culture. Why I am pointing this on? As I have come from a village, and I have seen that in our villages, each and every family, there was cow, and there was no dearth of milk. Every village there was huge amount of milk. But today, when I go to my village at Burdwan district, I see my mother has to purchase milk from others, that milk trader. Because in our area, there are some big companies have come like Metro Dairy and other, they are collecting milk. But the farmers, they are not cultivating the cow. In our village, hardly 4 to 5 family, the cattle actually raise the cattle. Because of the manpower, shortage of manpower, because they are not interested. Some of them are migrated to the city, just like me, and who will take care of them? So this is the situation of milk in our villages. But people, they require milk from day one to the last day also. But that's why it is my approach that if we just motivate our people just to raise cattle like milking cow in their family, so they can at least get a good amount of milk just to maintain their health. So it is a common practice overall the world. The cow excreta are most abundant in terms of availability, and a healthy cow may excrete over 4,000 to 5,000 kg dung and 3,500 to 4,000 liter urine on an annual basis. The BOD of the cow manure is lower than other livestock manure. About 5 to 6 cow can provide adequate manure for 1 hectare pond in addition to 9,000 kg milk and about 3,000 to 4,000 kg of fish annually. Cow shed should be built close to the fish pond to simplify handling of cow manure. As I have done some pig cum fish farming, integrated farming in Bankura and Purulia district, I have seen how they can easily maintain these pig sties and the pottery, or say for instance duck, easily they can maintain, and there is no such problem. And thing is that in villages you will see the people, they have some empirical skill about the duckery, about the poultry, about the goatry, about the cattle, but we are not interested now. This is the problem. So the fish cum livestock farming is realized as innovation for the recycling of organic waste as well as production of high class protein at low cost, which is the basic need of our livelihood. So this is the our humble presentation to you, and now we will discuss for if you are interested, we can discuss, and if you have any query, I shall try my
Sir,
best.
thanks a lot. Now, if there are any questions, please ask.
Good morning, sir. Am
Yes.
I audible?
Yes, sorry.
Sir, myself, Miss Sushri Sangita De from ICRCIFE. I have a question for you. The presentation was very nice, but I want to ask something little bit deepen. That is, how to apply this excreta of the cattle or poultry or piggery in the pond, means directly, or what is the processing method, how we can apply those excreta in the pond?
Okay. First, I will tell about the piggery. In case in pig dung, pig excreta, there are 70% undigestible food product is there in pig dung. 70%. So if you apply pig dung directly into the pond, there is no problem, because the dung acts as a two part. First part is that undigestible part will directly feed the fish, and the digestible part it will decompose and it will release the nutrients like nitrogen, phosphate, etc. So first thing, it will be act as the feed, the undigestible part, and second part we will boost up the planktons. So it will the fish will get benefited because the plankton is there. And in the cow dung, in the pig dung, the phosphate and organic carbon load is high. That's what you will get the not only the zooplankton but to the phytoplankton. So in your pond you can culture both planktivorous, zooplanktivorous and phytoplanktivorous fish. Only one problem will be that if you just regularly you discharge the effluent, there may be some eutrophication. So there will be some management method. Management means in the sense that if you see that the color of the water is turned to the green, so you don't apply the manure directly into the pond. What we'll do in that situation, you will see that in case of just I am going to that this slide. Say that this is the pig house. So in case of your duck house, you think it is a pig house. So this is the main drain is there. Here will be another diversion canal and a pit will be there. In that there will be a pit. So if you see that the water is becoming green, so you stop this area so that the effluent will not come directly to the pond, it will bifurcate to that pit. And if you just stop it for 7 days, you will see that will be transparent. And whatever is in the pit, you just keep it for the agricultural crop, or whenever you will see that, say for instance, after 6 months of rearing, you have to sell the pig to the market. When you will bring the weaned piglets, their fecal matter will be less. In that case, you can reuse this manure from that pit for the fish feed of the fishes. If it is poultry bird, I have you see there is a one picture is there. Here there are two type of system. One is the on the pond and is the on the embankment. If it is on the pond system, so whatever droppings is laid by the ducks or hens, it will directly go to the pond. So you have to maintain your stocking density of the fish in such a way that it will not be overburdened and it will not create any biological deterioration of the quality. So in that case, you can do one thing, that you can, other than dropping directly to the pond, you can place a in a container so that it will be one mat-like structure you can spread in that area. So instead of dropping directly, it will be in that sty duck house, and you can just sweep it and keep it in another place for that purpose. Or if you have some deep litter system, or the person there, those who are the raising the hen. So deep litter is another very nutritious, nitrogen rich in nitrogen, and you can apply the pond according to your requirement. And in case of cattle, without directly applying the raw cow dung, you can just dry it for half dry condition, not full dry, half dry. You just spread it in the pond embankment for 2 to 3 days, and wherever it is got dried up, you just apply it, because we apply the 5,000 to 10,000 kg per hectare. It is a common practice. So in that, instead of raw cow dung, we can just dry it and we can apply it to the pond. There is no problem. One problem may be there, because in case of pig droppings, I have seen that in some areas they use the pond water. In that case, what we did, that we just encircled the canal. So like this is the canal. We encircled in by a nylon net, like this way, so that any fecal matter will float and will come to this area. It will be within this system. Only the decomposed part will be mixed with the water, and there will be no problem, because sometimes they take bath in that water, there will be some problem, they may say it is not good for them. Okay, by this way. And in case of cattle also you can do that, like this way. So by this way you can maintain your application of the animal waste to your culture pond. Am I clear?
Yes, sir. So biogas slurry can be applied directly, or is there any method?
Directly. Biogas slurry you can use directly, but dose will be limited, because it is very rich in nitrogen. Whatever we apply in case of cattle, that dose will be less than that, and it will not daily. It will be at least thrice in a week, not daily. But
Okay,
your
sir.
stocking density will be more. If we just stock 10,000 per hectare, the will be 15,000 per hectare. And another thing in case of integrated farming is very vital. Whenever you will harvest the fish or partial harvestment, whatever amount, it does not matter, whatever number it is matter. Say for instance, you have 40 kg fish we have harvested, and it is say for 40 fish, 1 kg each. So 40 number of small fish on a fingerling size of fish we have to release in the pond. Why? Because the amount of manure is coming based on the stocking density. You have maintained the stocking density, and if you just go for partial harvesting, the food will be excess, but the biodegradation will be there, and it will create problem. So number of fish should be maintained. Whatever fish will go for the harvesting, same number of fish will replenish, so that it will be maintained.
Okay, sir. Sir, did you say for poultry?
Poultry is the same thing. Poultry means, in case of poultry, it may be dakari, it may be hen. Same thing in dakari. There is it is the floating condition on the pond, and or it may be embankment. Same thing. What happens? It is the dakari. And in poultry, if it is the poultry bird is there, same way that deep litter, and deep litter will take some time. Daily we cannot apply the deep litter. Deep litter, when deep litter will form, we'll keep it in a container, and whatever amount you require, say 10 kg or 15 kg, you take it and you just apply it to the pond, and it will maintain the plankton population and zooplankton population in your pond, and there is no extra feed is required. That's why 60% cost which is incurred for the fish production as feed, this will be off. There is no extra feed is required. Only when is required, if you just sell the duck, or if you sell the pig, or you sell the cattle, there is no extra is there, drunks is there. At that time, if you see that it is a 1 month time is there, at that then you can add some feed. But I think that I have not seen in my project and through this 25 years of my research, I have not seen that there is no such shortage of deficiency of.
Sir, supplementary feed can be given, no?
Supplementary feed is not required. That's why I'm telling that you can
Yes.
save that 60% money. If there is an ample amount of feed is there, natural feed, why you go for supplementary feed? No need of that. That's why I'm telling, if the production cost is 100 rupees per kg of fish, 60 rupees is for the for feed. So if you just incur the 60 rupees, only production cost is 40 rupees. You are selling the fish 120 rupees. If it is that, so 80 rupees will be your profit. But if you go for the artificial feeding, only 20 rupees will be your profit. This is the main difference. And in case of pig farming, another advantage is there. If you raise a male and female pig, the female pig, they will give birth of the 5 to 6 at least babies, piglet.
Yes.
And per piglet, in piglet is cost not less than 1,000, not less than. So it is extra income. In case of duckery also, meat and duck, in case of poultry, meat and duck, and along with you will get the fish. So multiple faceted integrated farming. There are so many avenues are there we can earn if we just judicially use that area. And not only that, this bank, it is the fallow, but you can go for the creeper like this. So many farmers, their vegetable garden they have prepared, and whatever wastage, extra fertilizer is there, they are using. There is some picture is in my project. There is the farmer, they is going for paddy farming without any fertilizer, only the cow dung. Extra cow dung, they are using the fertilizer. In the kitchen garden, they are using the fertilizer and getting good crop.
Okay,
So,
sir.
ma'am, the thing is that we have to motivate the farmer. Thing is that we are not motivating the farmer. Farmers, they have the skill. If we just motivate, they will be engaged in this type of farming, and whenever they will get the return, you will see you cannot stop it. I have seen so many villages, so many farmers, they are doing it a fantastic way. But thing is that we are only focused on the high tech.
Okay, sir. Thank you very much.
In Eastern India, there is ample scope.
Hello, sir. Hello,
Pardon?
sir. How mushroom
Yes,
can
yes,
be? Hello.
You see, mushroom, you can grow there. I share that where in the vegetable crop there is mushroom, you can do like this way, or in a, you see, here is the mushroom is there in the vegetable crop. There is some straw is there, hay is there, and they have inoculated that seed, and by this way they are maintaining, but it is covered. It is just like a greenhouse. They have protected it and they are doing it. Or you can make a set and you can go for this mushroom.
But sir,
Why you are using the mushroom? You must,
the
in case of mushroom, you are using the straw. It is your byproduct. Only thing you have procured the mushroom seed. You have to procure. Nothing is required. You can do mushroom very easy.
Sir, mushroom is indoor crop. Hello, sir.
Pardon?
Mushroom is an indoor crop, no, sir. Indoor crop.
Indoor. I am telling you, it is also indoor. It is not that it is outdoor. It is indoor. You see, there is some net is there, and over is thatch house is there. It is just like a greenhouse.
But
It is
sir,
protected because you can do it in your shed. You can prepare a shed, just like you see there is a vermicompost. There is a shed is there. You can make shed like this by using that your straw is there. From your agriculture crop, you can make a thatch house and you culture this your mushroom.
but sir, in case of mushroom, whatever substrate should be used, it should be sterilized.
No sterilization. Only thing is that what is straw you are using, it should be soaked in water. There is some procedure is there, and you just inoculate that fermented that fungus, I mean the mushroom, and you just keep it, and automatically you will see that sprout is coming, and it will within 2 days you will see that that is growing.
What type of mushroom you have used in this project?
Actually, sir, in my project we have not used mushroom. Mushroom you can do that. We have used only the pig, we have used duck, we have used poultry, not mushroom and cattle. We have used 4 things. But mushroom we have not done it. But
I think, sir,
mushroom
it should not be possible, sir.
which one?
Mushroom in the intercropping in vegetable.
Intercropping vegetable, you see, this is a picture. It is from a project picture. They have done it. They have done it. I am not doing it. It is not my picture. I am telling you that is not my picture. It is a picture from the net I have taken, and this is from their project.
But sir, you
They have
talk
done
with
it like
you plant pathologist. You talk. I think it is not possible, sir.
and pathologies.
Plant pathologist. You talk with plant pathologist. I think it should not be possible.
I have not talked about the plant pathology. What plant pathology I have talked?
No, sir. Actually,
I have told that. I have told that we are using so many pesticide and fertilizer in our system, and this is a competition among the farmers. What they are using, it is out of their is dose. So this is a kind of problem in our health hazards. But if you go for integrated farming, there is no such using that type of pesticide. There is no there is no use. If there is, if you don't get a huge amount of brinjal, you don't need.
okay.
That's why I'm telling. If you go for the high tech, is it possible for high tech? Whether a farmer that he can apply the high tech technology, no need of that. Pathology means my intention was to say that whatever crop we are eating from the agricultural feed is full of pesticide. That's how you are diseases is